Well, good morning, folks. This is Tim Ealer, meteorologist. Hope you all doing well today. Today is the 23rd of November, 2025. Getting my pen going here so I can draw on the screen. And yesterday I talked about the polar vortex and MJO, and today I'm going to go into the weather leading up into Thanksgiving. Because it's a big travel day, travel week. A lot of people are going to be off and traveling around. I think it's important to talk about the short term and potential impacts. We'll go over model guidance, where we think the most impacts are going to be, and talk about potential severe weather and excessive rainfall, possible flooding. All right, so let's get started here. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Allergies, sinuses, all kind of fun stuff. All right, so this is the radar with the water vapor loop as part of this, and we also have the excessive rainfall. Excuse me. Excessive rainfall outlook overlaid on this, and you can see for today we have a slight risk excessive rainfall here into Texas, in parts of Oklahoma, and a marginal risk surrounding it down into south central and southern Texas. We have a system coming on shore to Pacific Northwest here. No flooding expected there. So, and we have a system moving, looks like a jet streak right here. Maybe some snowfall ongoing right here along the East Coast. So light snow maybe right there, but that's about it. We have this frontal boundary that's kind of trying to push. This is a mid-level water vapor loop trying to push drier air down here to the south. And with the clearing skies aloft, we have some fog, pretty dense fog ongoing right now. That'll likely dissipate as the sun comes up, like it usually does. Probably gone by, I don't know, 10 or 11 this morning, I imagine. We had a record high here in my area. It was like near 82, 83 degrees, which is quite warm for this time of year. Anyway, pretty potent mid-level feature moving through the flow here. Let's take off the radar real quickly here. All right, let me get this going again. We can kind of draw on this. This is going to be the weather maker. Quite a bit of divergence aloft here. Enhances rainfall, right? When it does that, right? So I keep saying right. Anyway, as this system moves to the east, you can bet that there's going to be heavy rainfall, right? I mean, look at the outlook here. Pretty far south for this time of year. So we have different little low pressure systems associated with it, but quite a potent system here today. All right. Now I'll bring up the current temperatures on this so you can see those. All right, so you know, interestingly enough, it's quite chilly here where it was pretty warm a few days ago. Let's see here up in the northeast. Right along the east coast, it's below freezing. up into the northeast here. Near freezing into Colorado. But no precip ongoing right there, right now, right? Maybe some cooler temps up here in the northeast, the northern high plains. So here's the excessive rainfall outlook for today. Man, I'm struggling today. My throat. Anyway, we showed that already, and so let's look at the severe outlook for today. So here's a severe weather outlook. Trying to get myself together here this morning. Having a lot of technical issues and sinuses are messed up, but recouping here. Hopefully, get through this without any more interruptions. Slight risk surrounded by a larger marginal risk approaching Dallas, Texas today. San Angelo, Lubbock, Wichita Falls. Biggest threat today is hail. This is what's driving the slight risk today. All right. So let's look at that. 15% chance of hail exceeding 1 inch in diameter within 25 miles of a point. And a tornado risk in the same area, which is 2%. A relatively low risk today, but still there nonetheless. And sometimes in the plains in Texas, these systems can overperform. So, and they can underperform too, but they definitely upgraded this hail risk with this latest outlook this morning. So, moving on to day 2, categorical. We'll zoom in out a little bit. Centered on Shreveport area, but a slight risk all the way up into parts of Arkansas near Greenville, all the way down towards Austin, Killeen, Waco, College Station. We've all heard those names before, guys, haven't we? With different storms coming through. This is not unusual this time of year. Approaching the Dixie Alley, right? And so yeah, I mean, surrounded by marginal risk here in the Houston, San Antonio, McKinney, Little Rock. So I don't know if many people will be traveling tomorrow. So hopefully this will be out of the way before the big travel days come in, but then it's just further east. So if we move to the excessive rainfall outlook, see that there. So yeah, a little bit further to the north here, but heavy rain, excessive rainfall. And the slight area indicates a slight risk of excessive rainfall, meaning exceeding flash flood guidance within 25 miles of a point, and a larger marginal risk surrounding it. So if we go back to day 1, we can show the amount of precip expected, right? So San Angelo, centered on San Angelo, where that threat is centered, right? So for today, and along the northwest coast. Otherwise, some precip up here in the northeast, but the biggest short-term threat here is in Texas today. So if we go to day 2, that shifts a little further to the east, right? And that's where the most rainfall is expected. I know I'm moving this around, but I'm trying to zoom it in here so y'all can see El Dorado, Sulphur Springs, near the border of Oklahoma and Texas. And this isn't a direct pinpoint forecast, but close enough. All right. So 2-3 inches maybe of rain tomorrow. All right. And if we go the excessive rainfall outlook for day 3, moves further east. We zoom out, no other threats. It's less of a threat tomorrow, marginal risk in these areas. Atlanta, bordering on Macon, Georgia, down to Columbus, Georgia, Montgomery, Alabama, Mississippi, up into Texas, Knoxville, Johnson City, Asheville, Greenville, etc. All these different cities here. And if we look at the QPF here, precip totals, highest in the Georgia mountains here into eastern Alabama. I like this map because all the cities are labeled in states. It helps me with the states. I just can't remember some of them. I don't know why. Anyway, Talladega may be getting some heavy rain on Tuesday here. So if we go a little bit further out, the excessive rainfall outlook, you have a marginal risk moving onshore on Wednesday, right? So no other excessive rainfall outlooks with the rest of the nation. And then for day 5, which is Thanksgiving Day, none expected. So if you look at the probabilistic outlook for severe weather, there's nothing on the map, I'm pretty sure, past day 3. So that's good news, right? So that's the basics for the relative short term, right? So what are we looking for Thanksgiving Day and Wednesday leading up to that as far as sensible weather? We'll go over some model guidance for the next week or so on what to expect and where snowfall may be occurring, temperatures, things like that. So stay tuned for that next. So here are some graphics I pulled up for the Texas area for flooding today. Flood watch tonight, Monday, 6 p.m. Thunder, Sunday through Monday. The DFW area, Paris, Sherman, Graham, in those areas. 1 to 3 inches of rain expected. Isolate totals up to 4 inches. So be mindful of that. Right. Now there's another graphic for the area. Heavy rain tonight to Monday. This was issued today at 4:07 a.m. And wherever there was heavy rain in the previous days, likely have the most impacts, right? Move this thing over here. You can see where the highest rain totals are projected to be up here towards Paris, Sherman, DFW, Texas. North Texas, 1 to 3 inches. Central Texas, 1/4 to 1.5. There's a 10 to 20% chance of rain, totals up to 4 inches near north of I-20. So move this over, you can see the timing here. Sunday night into Monday is the biggest threats here. So yeah. Another graphic showing where the rains before 6 p.m. Western parts of Texas, even after 6 p.m. Sitting on DFW, Sherman, Cisco, and overnight into early Monday. 20 to 50% chance here. And there's a low potential for a few strong to severe hailstorms west of I-35. All right, so yeah, a lot going on in Texas today. Flooding and severe is another graphic for the flooding and severe storm threat on Monday. That flooding threat is still up in this area, right? And in the morning, let's see if I can get this. Anyway, you see what the severe threat is. We talked about that. Hazards, tornado threat is low. Hail and winds maybe would be the biggest threat tomorrow. So the potential for severe storms in the afternoon is increased, but overall severe threat is low, which is a slight threat, right? And after that, Thanksgiving Day. Um, so sunny, cool, and dry weather expected for Thanksgiving as well most of this week. So after the rainfall comes through, you can see the temps, highs, and lows. So it gets to dry out a little bit in the coming days. So as far as current hazards, we have dense fog advisories for in areas in gray here, which is most of the hazards for today right now. With that flood watch we talked about here in the Texas, winter weather advisory for the Colorado mountains, high wind watch here into Wyoming, and winter storm advisory, winter weather advisory up here um, in the northern high plains near the Idaho border here. Current temps generally in the 20s and 30s here in the plains, the northern high plains. Pretty cold, chilly up here in the northeast. And we talked about that before. And the 60s, 50s and 60s already here in the southeast. And the warm air kind of pushing back up here in the western Texas with some cool air hanging on here in the eastern Texas. All right, so overall, not that cold, right? We don't see a lot of cold air pooling up to the north either, at least right now. So as far as forecast temps for the future, this is the European AI model, right? This is just the temperature at different times of the day. Initialize this. Let's 7 a.m., right? Um, below freezing, staying up to the north here, but warming up quite a bit here along the east coast and for most of the nation, really. Okay. You see in Texas, it gets quite warm here with that mid-level feature moving through. Cooler, drier air pushing down the west, east of the Rockies here. Cold air, a little bit colder air pulled up here. We get into the 26th, the day before Thanksgiving. A little colder air pushing further south here. Possible freezing temps into Texas. That cool air pushes further north. You see the lows here have cooled off some in the southeast. And this is Saturday, okay? So getting quite cold up here. You see the cold air pooling up here. Moving to Sunday of next week. Looks like cold front pushing through here, guys. And this is really cold air coming down. So just for just to see here, let's see what the model is showing here. Negative low, negative temperature, below zero temps here in the northeast, the northern high plains. Man, struggling today. Warming up quite quickly here, east of the Rockies. Cold air pooling again up here to the north. All right. Trying to push to the south, but not really doing much, right? So remains to be seen how far south this cold air pushes, guys. So we'll just have to see. So yeah, let's look at the wind chills real quickly associated with this, and then I'm gonna call it a day for today. All right. So go through time here. Of course, we don't have a lot of wind chills when it's warmer. Quite cold here in the mountains, Rocky Mountains, and wind chill in the single digits here. 25th, Tuesday. Colder air tries to make its way further south. Looks like a little bit of wind going on. It's going to get quite chilly here. Quick shot of cold air here in the southeast. Then cold air starts to push down east of the Rockies. This is Monday the 1st. So you have -10 wind chills up here in the northern high plains, and wind chill temperatures in the 20s here, east of the Rockies. So let's look at the surface map. I forgot to do that. I'm going to do that real quickly. We'll have to go to the European model for that, because the AI doesn't really show precipitation type. Okay, so starting today, let's say 10 a.m. All right, so we have that system ejecting out of the plains into the plains here. Maybe a little bit of snow here, rain, heavy rain here into Texas. The system moves through, right, but warm to the east of the system. And then you have this system up to the north here. It's getting going, right? Snow on the backside really strengthens here. They bring in the lake effect snow event up here again, right? And it's been a little while, but strengthening quite a bit. You see the northwest flow here. Moisture maybe moving over top down over the Rockies. And that's as far out as we go. This is Saturday. All right. So through Saturday, generally pretty quiet, but let's go back one run and see as we go further out what the extended range might look like. Boundary setting up here. This is where it really gets interesting, how this plays out here. Possible overrunning event here, but the low develops further, develops further to the north here. If you see this overrunning moisture, if this plays out, you could really have some icing going on here with a high pressure holding on to the north here. We'll have to see what happens there. Get even further out, which is highly uncertain. Trough ejecting out of the into the plains, and that's the end of that's the 7th of December. So take that with a grain of salt. More than 5-7 days out, but that's not a forecast, guys. That's just what I'm looking at right now. I appreciate y'all watching and putting up with my coughing and just overall raspy voice today. Hope y'all have a great day.